Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome back to Inventory Management Portal with core PHP and MySQL. This is Ali Raza, and today I'm going to tell you about how can you create a code that will help you to insert, update and delete the data via your PHP application and from your database that you have created inside your MySQL. Okay, so let's start and have a look what we have today. So the first thing that we have to do here is to specify some SQL code here, and with respect to the stored procedures we are going to do something interesting. So we have two tables, that is roles and users. So I wanted to insert users, I wanted to update users, I wanted to delete users, and I wanted to update, insert and delete the roles as well. Okay, so for that purpose I'm going to write some stored procedures. Why stored procedures? Because when we are dealing with web application, we should be very you can say we should make our web application very secure. Okay, and in order to make our web application secure, we use stored procedures. Stored procedures gives us encapsulation, and encapsulation means to hide something. Okay, that's an object oriented programming concept also. So in order to save our query within the database and not directly writing the query inside the PHP application, we use the MySQL stored procedures within the database. So let's create the stored procedures for inserting the data inside the users table. So let me select the users table and go to the SQL. Now you see these are all the columns, and I wanted to insert record via stored procedures. So what I can do, I can write here a keyword delimiter / and then delimiters parameters, sorry, the symbols, and then delimiters again. So this is the syntax for writing stored procedure in MySQL. Delimiter means the terminators. Okay, and now we have to specify create procedure st_ insert users or insert user. Why? Because one user at a time we are going to insert. Now how many things I am going to insert? I'll assume that I don't have any original data right now. So parameters are the assumptions that are used in place of the original value. So I need name, that should be varchar, and the length should be 40. The lengths of the variables should be same as you have stored inside the table definition. Okay, after this name we have email. So I can write here email as a parameter. These are my variables, these are not my actual values. So varchar and 40, and then we need phone number. So phone, and it should be varchar 15, and then we have the role ID. So that should be role ID, and it is integer. Okay, now I'll write here begin and end. These acts as curly braces in SQL. Now the original query should be here, insert into, the table name is users, then the column names are u_name, comma u_email, comma u_phone, comma u_role ID. So these are my columns. Now the original values should be in brackets. So where should be the original values? These are my parameters, name that I have specified in the parameter list, and then email, and then the phone, and then we have the role ID. So make sure the spellings are correct, role ID, that's it. And then specify the semicolon, because your query is terminating at this point and you have to specify semicolon here as well. Guys, if you don't understand what is this, and if you are having difficulties in understanding this, please kindly go to the lectures that I have already uploaded on YouTube also in the PHP and MySQL playlists. Okay, so you can refer from those lectures as well. because we are creating a project, complete project, and I'm not going to demonstrate the very basics here. I assume that you should know that what are stored procedures, how to create stored procedures, and what are the benefits of a stored procedures. Okay, so let's copy and execute this query. You can see the procedure is successfully created, and you can see I have already created other stored procedures like insert roles, get roles, delete roles, insert user I have just created. Okay, now if I wanted to insert a user, let's first check the how many roles I have. So I have one role already inserted here. I have done this for you already. So 1 and admin, the role ID is 1. So if I wanted to call this a stored procedure, insert users, what I can do, I can simply go here inside the query editor, and here I can write call, and then remember this thing that I am writing right now in front of you, because we use this thing within our PHP application. So call, and then the procedure name is insert user, sorry, st underscore insert user. So st underscore insert user. Now what I need to pass my values. So what are the values that I need to pass here inside my insert user parameter function? That was, let me show you. First of all, we have the name, then email, then phone, then role ID. So the name should be, I'm passing the original data right now to the parameters. So name, let's say Ali, comma, then email ali@abc.com, and then we need to pass the phone number. So phone number is 0345-123-1231, let's say, and the role ID, that is 1. Numeric data is always without single quotes. So that's my query that I have written. Now what I wanted to do, I wanted to execute this, whether it is working or not. So you can see it is working, and the data is inserted successfully inside my table. So that means that if I go back to the SQL, and if I write it something like this, something like this. So this is the thing that I will use inside my PHP application. Instead of writing the original insert query, I'll use something like this. Okay, now I wanted to create a dynamic code that helps me to pass any stored procedure and to insert any record. Okay, I don't want to write separate code for insert again and again for every table that I will create in future. Okay, and for every column that I wanted to insert data, I should write some code or some unique function or a universal function, you can say, that helps me to specify every table insertion and any number of column table insertion. Okay, so let's go to the Dreamweaver and create a new PHP file. That should be HTML5 and create. So for connection string, I'm first going to save this page as connection. Simple, and that's my directory, and save. So connection.php. In order to create a bridge between your PHP application with your MySQL database, you should require a connection, and for connection we use here a variable, let's say $connect or con, and then there is a function mysqli underscore connect. Guys, one more thing I must mention here is that the things that I am demonstrating you is not the last thing. There are other ways to connect to your database as well. There are PDOs, there are prepare statements, there are other things as well. So this is not the last choice that you can do. Okay, all I am demonstrating is the knowledge that I have. If you know something better than this, you can specify that as well. So mysqli underscore connect, you can see first it is asking me the host name. In this case we have the host, that is localhost. Alright guys, so localhost, and then we have to specify the second parameter, that is the username, that is root in this case, but I will not recommend you to specify root here. Okay, because root is the by default username for MySQL, and there is no password for root. So if you know that I have created a user in the start of this series, that is Ali and ABC123, so you have to specify something like that. Okay, so right now I am leaving this as root, but make sure that you have specify your username and password, don't copy mine. So then the last parameter that we need to pass here is the database name, and our database name is inventory db, and then round brackets semicolon. That's it. So that's the connection that you have created for connecting your PHP application to your MySQL database. Save it, and now let's create another page for demo for checking purposes. So new and PHP and HTML5 and create. Here let's remove this all and save this with the name demo, let's say, and save. Here I am specifying PHP again, and I am calling my that connection page here. So include and then connection.php. I have included, and now what we can do, we can simply write here, just close this out because we have the connection PHP file now here. So it is included successfully. Now what I can do, I can check whether it is there or not. So if $connect, you can see connection is coming, okay, and check whether the database is successfully connected or not. So echo, and you can write here a message connected, else you can write here not connected, not connected. And one thing that you can specify here is something like this, like or die, and specify the message here that is unable to connect. Die will terminate the execution of the script of PHP. Okay, so this is the way you can specify the things. So let us check whether this page is working or not, whether the database is connected or not. So preview in Chrome, you can see what is written, connected. That means our page is successfully created, our connection is successfully there. So now what's the next step? Now we have to write a code that helps you to specify insert, update and delete together with respect to one code. So let's create a new page, PHP, HTML5 and create. Here let's save this page as demo2, okay, or let's write here CRUD, a good name. CRUD means create, retrieve, update, delete. Okay, so let's remove this and specify PHP markers and save. What I need here, I need the connection first. Okay, so the connection should be include, and the connection page name is connection.php and save. You can see connection file is also connected here or attached here. Now what I need to create a function. Now listen guys carefully, this is a very important thing that I'm doing right now. So insert, update and delete. These are the three operations that helps us to send data from PHP application to the MySQL database. So come inside. Now what this function require? This function require first of all the procedure that I wanted to execute. Any procedure, insert procedure, update procedure or delete procedure, stored procedure, and the parameters that I wanted to pass within that stored procedure I should pass. But how can I get the parameters? Let's say one insert query can have, let's say, 4 parameters, but update query can have 2 parameters. So there is a variable number of parameters and I cannot fix any number of parameters here. So what I can do, I can simply specify an array, okay, or you can specify something like this, ARR. So an array can be of any size, no issues. Okay, now the first thing that I wanted to show here is when we executed that, I wanted to do something like this. I wanted to generate this string with the help of that function. So what I can do, I can come here and write $query, a variable, and I am hard coding some stuff that I wanted to write every time, call, and then what I need to specify, concatenate, and then the procedure name that I will pass on runtime. After specifying the procedure name, again I am concatenating. Concatenation means the combining or the joining of 2 strings or multiple strings together. So bracket opened successfully. Now the parameters can be variable, and the loop is the array is containing multiple values. So I can specify a for each loop, and then round brackets open close, curly brackets open close, and come inside. Here I specify my array that contains all the parameters as $A. So what this loop will do, every time this loop will iterate itself, it pick up the value from the array and stores inside A. Now after storing the value inside A, I can append this A value with that query that I have created. So query dot equals to the assignment operator. Dot equals to is the assignment operator, and the concatenation as well is done with this. So what you can do, you can specify now your parameter value, that is $A. But after specifying $A, what will happen? If you see here, $A will give you this value, but how can you bring comma? You have to hard code it every time. Every time when the loop restarts, a comma should also be appended. So can I write here something like this? Okay, now save this and let's write here echo and check whether what we get. So $query. Let's call this function in a new page, new PHP HTML5 create. So let me write here, let me save this page with the name roles CRUD. Okay, roles CRUD. That means I wanted to insert inside the roles table. I have saved this page, and now what I can do, I can come here and start my PHP and call the function here. Okay, so the function name is, but before calling the function I should use that CRUD.php here. So include and specify CRUDE.php and save and close this because we have already here. Now the next step is the function name, that is insert, press Ctrl space, insert underscore update underscore delete should come here. Let's copy this and paste it here. You can see it is in the list. Okay, insert underscore update underscore delete. Now what it is asking me? It is asking me to please give me the procedure name. So what procedure I am going to use? Let's use this procedure, st underscore insert roles. Okay, so can I write here st underscore insert roles, the procedure name, and then where are my records? So I don't have, so what I can do, I can create an array and I'll write here array round brackets open close and the values in the array. So what I wanted to pass, I know that I am going to insert inside my roles table, so there is only one column in my roles table. Let me show you that. Let's click on the roles. You can see the role ID and the role name. Role ID is auto increment, so I don't want this column, only I'll need to store the role name. So what I can do, I can come here and write here, let's say manager. So I have stored only one value in this array, and then what I can do, I can pass here my array. That's it. Save it. When this function will execute, what will happen, guys? It will just display me what the string is, what string is generated. So let's execute this page. You can see. Okay, but I wanted to now remove the last comma and I wanted to replace it with a round bracket or a closing round bracket. So how can I do this as well? But let me tell you one thing. Let's say if I have multiple values, let's say we have another table, that is the users table, and we have multiple values. Now let's see what's the output. Save this and Chrome. You can see. So the value with the help of the for each loop is appending every time, but the comma in the end should not be there. So we should replace that. So how can we do that? Let me show you. Let's go to the CRUD.php and here I can write $query is equals to, that's my value inside this variable, and I will write here substr underscore replace. That's the function in PHP. So what you wanted to replace? I wanted to replace the query and I wanted to replace with round bracket, and where I wanted to replace this round bracket, the last position. Okay, -1 means the last position of the string. Save, and now let's check what's the output. See guys, so dynamically we have generated that same line that I have written inside MySQL. Simple as that. Now the next step is, instead of writing this thing echo, I'll simply write here if MySQLi underscore query. This is the function that helps you to execute your insert query, your update query, your delete query, and any other query. Okay, so you can see what it is asking me. It is asking me connection, so $con. It should include here. So connection is not directly available here, so what we can do, we can check this also. We have to check the connection variable here. It is not coming. Okay, but you notice here $connection is not coming. So what we can do, we can simply first call the connection inside a variable, because it has a global scope, so it is not coming inside the function, but you can see connection is coming here at this point. So cn equals to $con. So what I have done, I have taken, or I have extracted my connection from the connection.php and stored inside cn, and now I can pass it here as well. So cn, okay, and that's it. And then we have to specify the query, that is $query. One more thing that we can specify here is, let's make it okay, let's first check it, then we'll change something, because I think there's something still remaining. So if this query will execute, simply display the result inserted, else echo and not inserted. That's it. Alright, so this query will execute with the help of the query function, and then we'll display the insert message. Let us execute this page again. Remove this line, because inside roles we have this only manager. So save and execute. You can see it is not getting that connection still. Let me write something else. One try we can do here is, let's remove this thing we have included. Now what we can do within this function, I am writing here global and $cn is equals to $con, connection, and let's specify here and check what's the output of this. So you can see it is still saying that it is not inserted. The code is fine, but we have problem with the connection. Okay, one thing we can do also here is $connect. Let's take the connection.php code. That's this one. Copy it. Let's first check whether it is working or not. So I have specified the connection directly inside this function now, and now I have passed it also. Remove this include, because we don't need, we have directly called this line here. And now let's check whether it is working or not. So it's not working yet still, not inserted. That means the error is here. Alright, one thing that we can do here, because our data is still not inserted, so what I can do, I can specify my query once more. So what's the changes that we need to do here are, when we are adding the records, okay, when we are adding the record, we should specify the single quotes and the with the parameters. Let's try that, whether it is working or not. So single quote, concatenation, and then again single quote. Okay, now save it and check whether it is working or not, because when we write directly inside our SQL, so we specify the parameter values within single quotes. Okay, so let's check what's the output. You can see it's inserted. Now let's go to the PHP MySQL and check whether we have two roles or not. You can see now data has been inserted successfully, guys, but here we can face still a problem. What we can do, if we have the numeric data, we do not specify single quotes when the data is numeric. Okay, so what you can do, you can specify here a condition if $A is equals to you can specify the data type here. Okay, so this is the data type equality parameters, or sorry, operator triple equals to, and we can check for this. But now, right now, let's ignore this and make it simple. This code is finalized basically to insert every type of data. Okay, now I can use this code for inserting users as well. Let's do that. Come here and let's create another array. $arr2 is equals to array, and now I am specifying a user, let's say Bilal, and then the email of the user, that should be bilal@abc.com, and then what I can specify here, the phone number, that is this one, and then the ID of the Bilal, that should be 2. That means that he is a manager. So another array I have created. Now instead of this insert roles, the procedure that I have created with you guys, that is insert user, ARR2 should be passed here. Okay, now save it. I have changed the stored procedure, the columns are changed, the parameters are changed, everything is changed, but the function remains the same. I don't need to write that function again. Now let's check what's the output. You can see that's the one time effort that I've done, but it makes my life easier throughout this project. And I don't need to write the insert code again, I don't need to write the update code again, I don't need to write the delete code again. I can use this same function for insertion, for updation, for deletion. I hope it is clear. Let's go back to the PHP MySQL and let's click on the users. You can see Bilal is there. So this code, guys, let me show you again. This is the code that helps you in order to achieve this. And you notice here one thing, role ID was numeric, and it automatically converts that numeric data into, sorry, non-numeric data, because I have specified single quotes here every time. So ID was 2, so 2 was also there with single quotes, but it converts because the data type matches, it implicitly converts that non-numeric data into numeric data, that is 2, that was 2. I hope it is clear, guys. So now the base has been successfully created, guys. Let me finalize the things. Similarly, the procedure that we have created in today's lecture, that is insert user, you can use insert, you can create insert roles by yourself, you can create get roles. Let me show you get roles. You can see this is the get roles stored procedure, simple as that. Okay, I have used a select query and I have only get the role ID and role name, and that's my delete role. Let me show you that as well. So okay, and I have passed one parameter, that is ID, for this delete. And let me show you the update procedure, sorry, for role, and you can see update roles where role name equal to name, that's my one parameter that I have passed, and that's my second parameter that I have passed with this query. Okay, and let me show you that insert user. You can see 4 parameters I have passed when I have created this stored procedure in the beginning of this lecture, and these are the 4 column names, and these are my parameters. Simple. So I hope it is clear, guys. This whole effort is about to create a universal CRUD operation function that helps us reusability and achieving reusability in our PHP application. So do practice this thing and do try these things by yourself also. If you don't understand anything, please do write me. Thank you so much. Take care. Allah Hafiz.